So to make this Black Forest Gateau, you'll find all of the ingredients listed in the down bar below this video. You need 3 of the basics: a chocolate GENOISE sponge, a sugar syrup, and a chantilly cream. For each of these, you'll find a separate video on my channel, each of which are very short and simple to follow, and I'll link them in the down bar below this video. Firstly then, take your chocolate GENOISE sponge. It is easier if you make it in advance and freeze it, just the cutting will become easier. All we're going to do firstly is level off the top. So you want to take a bread knife, a large serrated knife like this, and you want to come down to eye level. Place one hand on top of the cake, keep the other hand at the same level, and you just want to twist the cake as you cut through. Remove that top layer. Then you just want to flip the cake upside down, and then we want to cut the cake into 3 layers, roughly 3 even layers if possible. So first, again, it's exactly the same principle. Come down to eye level, keep your right hand with the knife at the same level if possible, and you want to put your other hand on top of the cake, and you just want to twist as you cut. Eventually you'll meet up with your own track, and then just keep twisting, and eventually you'll feel that you've cut through. Then do the same for the next layer. Then just lift your cake off the board, just brush the crumbs off. Bottom layer down onto your tray. Brush that layer with your sugar syrup, which you flavour with KIRSCH, which is a cherry liqueur. You want to brush it really quite generously all over. Making sure as well you really get the edges. Then just take your chantilly cream, which I've just whipped to the stage of soft peaks, and you want to fill a piping bag with your chantilly cream. And then you just want to pipe a disc of cream all over the sponge. These are Morello cherries, which I've just put into a sieve to let the syrup drain off. I've also just halved those. You can leave them whole if you like. And you just want to place them over. You can use however many you like. Then you just want to pipe on 3 or 4 lines of your cream on the top. This will just give your sponge that goes above something to stick to. Then you want to take your middle layer of sponge, brush it with your syrup, again making sure to pay attention to the edges, and place that on top as centrally as you can. And then you want to press down from the centre just lightly. Come down to eye level to check that it's relatively flat. And then you want to repeat exactly the same thing. So you want to pipe your disc of chantilly cream. If you don't have a piping bag, you can of course just spread it. It's just the piping bag tends to ensure that your layer is a little bit more even. And place your final layer on top. You want to press down lightly, come down to eye level, And try to make sure that it's nice and even. Twist your board to do so for all the layers. You then want to brush the top layer with your syrup. Be nice and generous at this part as well, because this was the bottom of your cakes. To take your cream again, pipe some on top, quite a good amount. Then take a spatula and just spread that out. Then you want to come down to the sides and you want to just go around the edge. And once that's all roughly on, just smooth it out a little bit. The important thing at this stage, however, is that the cake all looks to be relatively uniform. So you want the top to be relatively flat. It shouldn't be bumpy in the middle. Perhaps that would be because there's more filling in the middle. If that's the case, when you're going over it with your spatula, try to press down and even it out. The same applies for the sides. You don't want your cake to be tilting. So as you're going around the edge with your spatula, come down to eye level and sort of check that. And you can push it slightly as you're applying your cream, as you're moving your spatula around. It won't be perfect, and it shouldn't be perfect. It won't really be possible to make it perfect. You'll see at the edge there it's all a little bit bumpy. All you want to do at this stage is now refrigerate it for half an hour, even 15 minutes if you're pushed for time. So just before you remove your cake from the fridge, you want to remove the rest of your chantilly cream from the fridge and just whisk it lightly to bring it to the stage where it's quite firm peaks, so that we can use it for the final layer. Remember, not too firm because we will be further agitating it as we spread it. We don't want to end up with a slightly grainy cream. So I've removed my gâteau from the fridge. So now take that chantilly cream with your spatula again, and you just want to layer your cream. Do this quite delicately. Place a nice generous layer over your cake. You then just want to take a tool like this, which is just a piece of stainless steel. I'm sure you can find this in any cake decorating companies. If you don't have it, you can just use your spatula, but this does make your life easier. And all you want to do is, starting on the top, you just want to drag it once over the top. Try to keep yourself relatively flat, like that. Scrape that off. Then what you want to do is place it vertically, so it's standing vertically up, and you just want to drag it around the edge. So depending on how much of a perfectionist you are, at this point it's up to you on how long you want to spend, just sort of coming down to eye level, seeing little bits which are uneven, going over them. So it's a case of sort of going back and forth between the top and the edge. What you can do, if you want to get a really perfect 90-degree angle, is once you feel like you're pretty much there, you can put your cake into the freezer for even 10 minutes, remove it, and then just taking a small sharp little knife, you can just trim off any little extra bits and to level any little extra bits out. When you're going over the top and making your adjustments, try to use a very, very light hand. You then want to take your spatula, preferably quite a large one, and we can just move our cake from this tray, you can leave it if you like on this tray, onto a cake board or onto whichever serving plate you may be using it for. Get right underneath. Go right the way around the bottom to make sure it's all unstuck. I like to bring my cake tray over here to the edge, slice it underneath so it can't really go too far, lift it on top. And that's it. The final thing you can do is just add some fresh cherries. And that's it, you then have your finished Black Forest Gateau. As you can see, it's very simple, the decoration is really simple, but I think it's really beautiful. It's very clean lines, very simple, very fresh, a really fresh sort of modern take on the classic Black Forest Gateau. You're probably used to seeing quite elaborate chocolate decorations. I will make another video in which I make a version of that, whereby I use the tempered chocolate decorations. Of course you can serve it straight away. It will be actually nicer if you cover it and refrigerate it overnight, so the flavours all really infuse together and become really even more delicious. It will keep in the fridge for a few days, but obviously it's fresh cream, so it won't keep for too long. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this and you'd like to see more videos like this in which I simplify French patisserie. You'll find classics like fruit tarts, eclairs, but you'll also find videos of all the basic techniques so that you'll be equipped to make anything you like in the comfort of your own home, to recreate so many of those beautiful French patisseries. I think this is also great for summertime. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.